Welcome to Wicked Wednesday with The Collective. Tonight, we present to you a letter to you, my beloved. To my beloved. It is with the utmost concern I write to you this letter, for my soul writhes with the memory of the events that occurred some nights ago. I find myself caught between a burning desire to spill forth unto you a profound apology, yet prudence would dictate that for now I would withhold the message in my heart for a night far more suitable than this one. Foolishly, I find myself fumbling with this quill, feverishly drafting the message your lovely eyes are reading currently, seeing as my body seems to wither away with every fluttering second I fail to delight myself with the beguiling cadence of your voice, or the silhouette of your tantalizing figure. In confessing this, I pray that this coaxes you to spare but a few drops of your copious well of time into my empty reservoir, as I forge a brainless and likely fruitless attempt to fall back into your good graces. One could take a gander at a romantic history like ours and decide for themselves that it was frivolous to continue. Upon our initial attempts at romance, I evaded your efforts to apprise you of the true me, due to my irrational anxieties that you would not accept the person you'd discovered. When I left you, much to the despair and bewilderment of the both of us, I had occasionally observed how you imprisoned yourself in your house for days, dressing in nothing but black and sobbing for hours on end, because my return was something presumed never to occur. In contrast to what the common man could observe of us, you and I have long been aware of our setbacks, and have embraced them as a humble cost of our noble intimacy. Or so I believed. Enlighten me, then, as to why when met with my return, something you and I both longed for deep within our hearts and souls, I was met with none other than the sight of you bolting away from me as fast as possible, screaming to the heavens for dear life. Why must you tear at me this way, my beloved? Your screams practically tore at the pieces of my body and let them fall limp on the ground, letting them decay as scraps of pitiful excuses for flesh on the grassy floor. I messaged you for days to come and meet me to celebrate my triumphant return, and to let us once again reacquaint ourselves with the feelings of you in my arms, and your mouth pressed against mine, yet you ran from me. You paid no heed to the bouquet I brought you, wrapped in the finest silk I could buy, and flourished with the flowers from the garden you adored. Still I scurried after you, yearning at the proposition that you were simply so perplexed at my return that you thought I was an impostor. It seemed that it was enough to assuage your fears, as your movements began to cease altogether. Yet when I pulled away from you, I was confronted with the ugly truth that you had frozen yourself out of abject repulsion, not the acceptance and affection that you had kindly showered me with since before my departure. Your eyes were dinner plates and your skin was ghostly pale, yet they held a gleam that one has when they recognize a friend in public or their lover at home. You were fully aware that it was I who kissed you with only the vigor that I would be capable of, yet still recoiled in my grip and continued to carry horror deep within your bosom. While my sight has greatly diminished ever since I left you, I could still recognize the source of your discomfort and the reason I write this letter to you in the first place. I apologize desperately for the remnants of filth I seem to have soiled you with on our last encounter. Mortification is a word that doesn't even begin the rugged ascent up the mountain of emotions I've felt and continue to feel since our last meeting and as I write this letter. The odious fluid that leaked from my body onto yours, the repugnant odor that presumably lingered on your body after your departure, and the pestilent magnets that followed you in the duration of your trek home was what I assume a daunting experience for you. While it may seem highly unlikely, I carried out a tremendous effort in trying to get rid of most of them, but it seems that there were remainders I was unable to rid of myself. In saying that, I do question your initial bewilderment upon seeing me. As you know, I hold the Victorian people and era in high regard, as their lifestyle and culture is one that is simply exquisite. I have informed you on numerous occasions about their viewpoints about death, and how that has influenced my belief about it as well. Perhaps you have forgotten in my absence, so I shall restate those beliefs. Death is not an enemy or something to run away from. It is simply a thing to aid you in enjoying life. One takes solace in the inevitability of death to enjoy the fruits of life. One takes solace in the exhaustion of life to enjoy the relief of death. In experiencing it, I have simply been relieved of my duties in this realm. My son has grown into a fine man, and we have thoroughly enjoyed the days we spent together, my love. Death means I am no longer bound to the constraints of this body, and that becomes more fragrant and fragile each passing hour. I am able to move what is left of my muscles. I am able to see with what is left of my eyes. I am able to feel with what is left of my fingers. And I am able to think with what is left of my brain. In light of this, there is one thing I beg of you, with every particle of the burning embers of my soul. One final embrace. One final night to reconcile the rift I have put between us and consummate our love with a flurry of blissful passion. My desire to once again experience the luxury of your presence seems to control my every waking moment as my body wastes away and the pads of my fingers whittle into bone. What is left of my stream of conscious remains in fleeting moments. It seems to be replaced by something else, something more sinister than the death the Victorians described in their literature. I believe this is to be the true feeling of death, or at least what death is for people like me. People with vices so repulsive that there was never the opportunity to eat away at them in life to the extent that they should have. So I pass this knowledge on to you, my love. Do not be alarmed if you see what's left of my lanky silhouette in your window, the corner of your street, nor in your bedroom, dutifully watching your every breath and blink. Nor should you hold any fear in your heart when you take the sight of a few of my maggots, the texture of my fluid slithering on your back, nor the faint smell of my odor, all of which I have attempted to get rid of to no avail. And now consider those of trivial matters if it means that I shall embrace you again, my love. Then, and only then, will we truly be able to consummate our passion. Perhaps I shall arrange for you to accompany me on this journey one day so that your time with me shall never end. Even death shall not do us part, my tender butterfly. As your ever friend and lover, D. Bloodmarch.